Hey guys, it is February 17th, and today we have an extra special topic because a lot of you guys have been asking a ton of questions about assistants. When should you get one? What do they do? What do I pay them? Just all kinds of questions about assistants. So I happen to have an incredibly awesome, amazing assistant, and she has become somebody who is super important in my business and does a lot. And we have a really great system, and it's come over time of learning to work with each other and learning what works and what doesn't. And we think that now we have it down, and we want to share today with you guys what works for us and just give you some ideas and answer some questions that you guys have. So my assistant's name is Kaitlyn Chavez, and just kind of to give you a little backstory of the way that Kaitlyn came to me, I can't even say I found her, is that Kaitlyn came to me, is Kaitlyn's husband also plays baseball. And years ago, I created a kind of what to pack and how to pack your diaper bag for baseball season, and a baby shower shopping list of what traveling baseball wives need when you have a baby, because we can't bring our whole houses with us when we travel. So I created this list, and I had some girlfriends who had been adding to it and found it, and Kaitlyn happened to message me and ask me if I had the list. One of my girlfriends had told her about it and how she had used it for her baby. So Kaitlyn and I kind of started following each other on Facebook and just, built a relationship there. She saw my post, and one day last year in February, I was joking around. I was totally stressed out about leaving for Cancun, and I said, when I come back from this trip, I'm getting an assistant. And I was totally kidding, but kind of serious. And I had a ton of people message me about if I was serious, and I really wasn't sure what I was going to do with an assistant, what needed to be done, all of these things. But Kaitlyn was the only person who took the post seriously in a manner of, she sent me her resume, she sent me a list of her qualifications and basically why she should have the job. And I was like, okay, hired. So I basically just emailed her, and I said, yeah, I am thinking about it, but I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm probably going to be a pain in the ass to work with. I have these things about me that are quirks. And here's what I'm looking for. Here's what I'm not looking for. And I've never done this before. And, it's going to be a growing process. So here's what I'm offering, and we'll start here. And I'm sure she's going to talk about all of that. And our list of what daily activities has grown over time. And so and Kaitlyn, you can stop me if I'm talking about what you're going to talk about. Basically, we started off on a trial basis, and I spent about 2 weeks before Kaitlyn actually started writing down every single thing that I did for my business, everything, throughout my day. And I did that, and at the end of the 2 weeks, I sat down and I used a highlighter, and I highlighted all of the things that I felt somebody else could be doing in my business. And I delegated those things out. And I just started creating a list in my notes file on my phone of, okay, these are the things that she could be doing. These are the things she could be doing per week. These are the things she can be doing per month. And these are the things that she could be doing every single day. And then there's a few things in there that she could be doing yearly for me, like right now, helping to plan the retreat. So anyway, with that being said, that's kind of how Kaitlyn's relationship and my relationship started. Now I consider her to be one of my best friends. I talk to her probably more than I talk to anyone else aside from my husband. She knows my dirty secrets, and she hears me fly off the handle when I've had it and I'm stressed, and she calms me down. So I love her, and I'm going to turn it over to her because she has totally organized my life and my business, and I trust her with everything, and I know she's got a ton of great information for you guys today that is going to help you hopefully do the same and get off to the right start with an assistant for yourself. So go ahead, Kaitlyn, it's all you. She's also very nervous because she's never spoke on camera before in front of everyone. So you'll do great.
Comfort zone.
Yes, it is. You'll do great.
I love doing this Love it, love it, love it. I didn't think that this is something that I was going to do, but it evolved, and it's just awesome. So I would do it if I were you. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, which I've never done before, so. Ha 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 ha. Okay. So that's not where I'm supposed to start. That's where I'm supposed to start. When is it time for an assistant? Per Lauren, because we talked about this a little bit, basically it's whenever you feel overwhelmed, that you're not getting what you want done, you're not getting your power hour in, you're not being productive as you want to be, you're stressing on those little things that are really a big thing in your mind, then it's time to start. It's time to start delegating. What can we do? So part of what I do is actually a lot of part. An assistant can help you in your back office. They can help you with your leads, with your reg advancements, with your new coaches, checking up all that information, checking your downline. The 2-3 times a week, they can get in there and log your workouts, run your reports. With emails, I check for, new applications, like right now with any orders that are coming in. Lauren's busy, so I know they're coming in. I'll send her a text. They responded to you, this, and this. Just getting back with her and keeping in touch with the in-betweens. If it got missed maybe, or it took a while, this person has a specific question about a product, that type of thing. Facebook and Instagram, on your like pages, you can have them, see, lost it. Okay, they can post to your challenge groups, your daily accountabilities. If you do that, schedule your pre-made posts. They can make your accountability images that you want them to post. They can manage your groups if that's something that you want done. If you don't mind delegating that out, we don't do that. She manages them, but to each their own. Transformation images, at the end of your challenge groups, when the people send in their pictures of before and after, they can make a post for you. Your Hey Girls, whoever likes your pages, they can send the Hey Girl and check in with them. Logging new messages. They get lost very easily in Facebook, so having them log your messages and putting them somewhere so you know that where to go is a lot easier, because scrolling through your Facebook isn't so awesome through the messages. Adding new followers, if that's something that you want them to do, to reach out to people. Open and close your challenge groups, and then accept and follow subscribers if that's something that you want them to do. I don't do that just because, I don't know, we don't do that, but I saw that other people do. I think that, or maybe Lauren feels that it's more personable when she actually knows who they are and who's in her feed and who's doing all that. Let's see. Content. Newsletters, templates, blogs, emails, challenge group posts, video editing, if that's something that you want done. Product, shipping samples, shipping giveaways, shipping team prizes for games that you do, challenge group winner prizes, mail invites and thank yous, sending online gift cards, ordering team gifts. Finances is something that we did right away that actually just happened not too long ago. And if you want them in your back office, like in your earnings and stuff, totally fine. But we just now started to where I'm doing the monthly tallies of what she does. I don't have access to her bank account or anything, but it's the orders that she's done. And if in PayPal and purchasing things. Scheduling, if you want them to schedule your one-on-ones when your applications come in your email, if you have a block time set up on your Gmail calendar, that between this time and this time I do 2 hours on Tuesday, Wednesdays to do one-on-ones, and it comes in your email. They can just schedule it in for you, and then it's there. extras and miscellaneous, I mean, I don't know if they're, well, team planning, the retreat, stuff like that. I probably shouldn't have put that because I don't have a lot to say on that one. Okay, next. Having one. Why would it help you? How can it help you? Lauren could probably speak better on that part, but just for what she gets done, what she can do when I'm doing all the other little things, but you can have a more productive power hour. You can focus on your challengers and your groups, responding to messages with intent, and you can really get into what that they need. Focus on your trainings, whatever you have anything to do, business building, connecting on social media. You can actually, you know, make the relationships with people. And then wherever you feel like you're failing, I guess, and I don't want to say that like you are failing, but wherever you feel like you can improve on something, that's once you give over the little things that you feel take up the most of your time, then you can focus on the areas that are bigger issues for you. Where do I start? Lauren did this one, making the highlight list of what you do every single day, every single week, every single month, and then what you're willing to let go. And if it's something that you really feel like, nope, I like this, I want to keep it there, even though it's easy, then do it. If that's what you enjoy about it, then do it. I've helped some coaches that they want to do the rank advancements, and then there's other ones that don't want to do it. They do the writing for it and, you know, hey, I love this person and all that, but they don't do the actual image. And there's others that really want to do it and that's what they enjoy, so they don't give that part up. And if you have to, and deciding if you want to coach or not, I wasn't. When I started, I didn't know anything about this. I am now for my shakes. But I don't have a team or anything. Some people that I've helped, they do want it. Some don't. Some feel like it would be too hard to teach somebody if they weren't a coach, and then others feel like they would prefer them to start out fresh, not knowing anything. I would just say be very patient with them if they're not. And Lauren calls it giving grace. I call it she's a saint, because I have so many questions sometimes, especially in the beginning. So just if they're not a coach and they weren't, just to be patient that they don't understand what a CBC is, and they don't understand what, you know, a BO is and a COO and stuff, but it's not okay. Is it worth it? So I don't know what anybody makes. I don't know. This isn't based on anybody's anything. It's just what I threw out there. If you're working 30 hours, $30, you know, however many hours you work a week, say you're making $30 an hour. If you pay an assistant about $10 an hour, which is what I've seen is the norm, and they work for 5 hours, you're paying them $50 for that week. So even though during those 5 hours you're only making $20, you're having 5 more productive, focused hours to do your power hour and to do strictly what you have in mind. You don't have to do you don't have to worry about leads if that's what you want to give up. You don't have to worry about running the reports and the images that take an hour just to do that one. You don't have to worry about all that. So you're making $10 less an hour for those 5 hours, but you're getting so much more done. This is a list of what of what I do, or what we started out with. Everybody's is different. The people I've helped, some people think that there's actually quite a few don't want to do the logging the workouts, but then there's like 2 or 3 that do. So it really just depends on what you want. But I log the team workouts. I check the back office for new customers and rank advancements. I send new customers the thank you and connect email. I check for previous month challengers that the shakes are about to send out. And all this, by the way, is her templates. She has all this saved. And I can go into what we use, but they're all in templates, and it's just like a copy and paste. Lauren had said that what are you willing to give up? A lot of people are asking, like, what are the top 5 things? Sorry, I'm kind of backtracking. Sorry. And it was whatever can be automated. So the leads, follow-ups, and new coaches, those kind of things. They're all sent with templates. I don't respond to them. I only send the initials. And then when they respond, then Lauren reaches out to them and finishes her conversations or however it goes. So I send out the connect emails. I check for previous month challengers and send out the shakes, letting them know that they're about to ship. I check for the new applications and I save them in a draft because sometimes I'm worried that I'm not going to do it right. And I don't want to mess it up. But she checks it and says, yeah, it's fine. Logging conversations. We do it in the Google Drive. The welcome emails for new customers, for any of your leads. Posted challenge groups. So I make the images, the daily accountability images in her challenge groups. And then the night before I post the upcoming day. Where was I? We used to do the new likes on Facebook. We don't do that anymore. Some people still do. She just didn't feel like, well, I don't know why you didn't. We don't do that anymore. Check for qualifications and rank advancements on Monday and Wednesdays. It used to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but now we just do Monday, Wednesday. And then every day at the end, I try to do it as I'm doing it, as I'm going through things. In the app we use, it's got my daily tracker. So everything I've done all day, I put in there. And at the end of the week, I put the hours, and she can go in there. She sees what I do. People had also asked, how do you know what they're really doing? How do you know? Lauren can see what I do. She knows how long it's taken to do a certain task. And I mean, it'll take us probably a little longer at first, but eventually, I mean, if you're watching what we're doing, you know it doesn't take an hour and a half to check your leads. You know it doesn't take, such and such time. So as long as they do it every day and then they tally their hours, you can see and say, yeah, that did take that long. Yeah, that did. So I just don't think that there's a worry in that one, as long as you're checking in on them too. Weekly, I do the, you guys have seen at first it was weekly, the banner on top of Fit Forest with the daily activities. Now it's a month at a time. I make that. Lauren gives me the information and then I do it. I don't know all that stuff. I can't wrap my head around that. I run the Success Club reports. I run the volume reports. I create the recognition pictures, and then I send them to Lauren, and Lauren does all the awesome wording for it. I check for new subscribers in Aweber. That's kind of been put on the side for a little bit, but that's still there. Adding new customers, and then tracking Facebook page insights. What we also do now is I make, like I said, for the team calls, the ones that I just posted, or whenever there's push groups, we do that. Anything that's sorry, I lost it. Anything that's new coming up, hey, come to this, hey, come to that. I'm usually doing the images for that. I now do, like I said, the PayPal purchasing things. I check with her before I press send, like 100%, this is what you want, this is the total, this is whatever, and she says yes, and then I press send, it's sent to her house. She checks it, she can see where it's coming from, she has a log of everything. And then also now at the end of the month, we do the business expenses and tallying it out and putting it in her expense sheets. And then monthly, I run the monthly Success Club reports. The other ones I do on the 15th, sorry. And then the top producers, the banners for both. The newsletter we haven't done, you can see that. You guys know that. And challenge pack promotions, I put that on the monthly newsletter now. I try and also in the back office with all your announcements coming up, I try to put all those in on the calendar of like when Cafe Latte was coming out. Next month I have in Hammer and Chisels being released. So I try and put all those in also, because I just try to take things off of her. I try and make it as simple as possible to where it's easier for her to just go in and say, no, don't put that on there and take it out, rather than say, can you add this here? Can you add that there? I try and put more in that might not be necessary, but I feel that it's easier to erase something than to have to add it in, because when she's at practice or something with the kids, she can just say no, yes, no, yeah, it's kind of, it works for us. I also total out them, and then let's see. And at the end of the month, I make the new accountability images, the daily ones. And then I also do the quarterly calendar of events images. A lot of it is images. A lot of it is, I probably a lot. It just takes up less time for her. It's easy to do because you think it's only going to take me 10, 15 minutes, which it probably does. But you have to do a bunch of that, or you have to do running the reports. That takes more time because when you have to add up all your CBCs and pick your top 5 and all that, it just, at the end of the day, that's all you've done. And you didn't get to do the leads. And so it's like, okay, well, forget about it. It just really depends on what you're willing to give up, what's a big deal to you, what isn't, and how much you want to get done with it. I think that might be it. If you have questions, I'm here. Yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Kaitlyn.
How bad was that?
No, it was fine. Can you unshare your screen?
Oh, yeah, see if we can see. How do you do that? Oh, stop share.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so Raven asked, how many hours a week do you work?
Say it again.
How many hours a week do you work?
This January I probably did 10. One I did like 18. One week I did 18, but then the next week I did 5. So, but it pretty much averages out about 10 hours a week.
Yeah, and you guys have to remember too that this right now, she's planning our retreat. So she's doing extra overtime for me because it's tax season. It is like retreat season. It is crazy busy season with recruits and team building and all of that stuff. So she is, she's working extra hours, but I know that it's worth it for me to have her doing it, because otherwise it would be taking away from my ability to spend time with you guys and with my family and with my customers and my challengers. And so, but normally when we started out, I had what was it, Kaitlyn? Like 7 hours a week it was like 7 to 10 was like the max, because I said $100 a week. We started out at $10 an hour with the limit of being 10 hours a week. And there were some weeks where she would get everything done and she would only work like 4 or 5 hours that week. And then the next week she would be working 12 to 13, and it all balanced itself out. And then as time went on and I was piling more things on top of her, and she's an awesome learner, and I would say something and she would have already studied the entire thing in YouTube and not learned how to do it herself. But I was paying her for that time that she was spending to learn how to do those things for me. So it's worth it in the long run. And, but yeah, now I just trust her, and I know that the work that she's doing, if she goes over hours, it's totally fine, because I know that she is putting the time in to make my life easier. And there's been a couple of times where she's had like crazy amounts of hours, and I've just told her like, whoa, Chica, go take a break, like go spend some time off, because you need to slow down. So and then she did, and she took a little bit of time off, and she would even check in and say, hey, I'm going way over my hours this week, do you want me to keep going or do you want me to stop? And sometimes I would go check the Evernote, see what she was doing and see where she was. And if it was just, there was one week where she had been spending hours upon hours learning how to do something. And so I said, okay, take a break, like that's good. We're done for the week. I'll handle anything that comes up. And then, whereas right now with it being the retreat and things like that, I know that needs to be done. And it's things that are, I don't mind that she's going over at all. So.
And searching.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys have any other questions?
So you mentioned other coaches. Are you working with other coaches currently? Or are you just working?
Me specifically?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I help 4 people get assistance.
Oh, okay. So now you're like a recruiter.
Yeah, I don't think I could take on somebody else. Wait, okay.
I force her to drink and gain weight.
Yeah, I told her I wanted to lose 5 pounds by June. I gained 7. And that doesn't mean anything bad. I love her, and I feel like I always told her she's my priority. You know, she's where I started. She's why I'm able, you know, to be able to keep staying home. But yeah, no, there are some people that only need maybe 2 hours, whatever they want to delegate. So then one assistant can have 2 coaches, or, you know, can have 2 bosses, because they both don't require a lot. If you guys are okay with that, it just depends on your preference of how you want it. I think one girl is shared by 2, and that works for them.
Yeah, I would just think it would be a conflict of interest. That's why when you said that, I was just kind of curious if you had other people that you were working with. So that's all.
I start them.
Yeah,
like
that makes sense.
I don't know if it's Elisa or Alyssa. I'm helping her get set up, but I'm not going to be hers.
Right. No, that makes total sense.
Yeah. Just depends if that's what you want. And if you don't, then don't do that.
Yeah. So Lisa asked, how do we find one? So my suggestion would be do what I did. Just put a post out there. I mean, you can say it jokingly like I did and see what happens, or you can say it seriously and just, you know, say my business is growing and I'm at a point now where I feel like I need to delegate some things out and I'm looking for an assistant. And you could even say, here are the things that I'm looking for in an assistant, and then see who comes back, because you never know who might be a stay-at-home mom and want a little extra work. You never know. I mean, Kaitlyn just happened to come to me because she was staying at home. She had the qualifications. She had done a job like this before in a corporate scale, but now she can do the same thing and be able to be home with her kids. And, you know, we've developed a kind of friendship and relationship where I see things in her life that she needs help with, and I consider it like a bonus because she works so hard for me. And I know that she's working like basically at any time of the day. I can text her and say, hey, I need this, and she does it. So, you know, I would just post it out there and see what comes back. And you can try it out. I had 2 other assistants before I had Kaitlyn, and I was like, I'm never doing this again. And then she came in my lap, and it was like, now I don't know where I would be without you. And if you ever quit, I'm going to freak out. So, but yeah, my biggest fear, I think, is that she becomes like Majewski with Janelle, where Meg was Janelle's assistant and she left to become a coach, but she became a top 10 coach, and that I would be totally cool with. But, yeah. So, yeah, just put it out there, see what happens.
For that, and I think you can get saved, because I just thought I had that. I swear I prepared for that question.
Yeah.
I didn't. So it was throwing it out there. I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off. Facebook groups, you know, any of the mommy groups that you were in, because a lot of them, like she said, want to stay home. And Elance, you can do it, or word of mouth if you want me to help you. I can do that too. But it's like she was kind of joking, but she wasn't.
So I basically was going to have the same question as Lisa. Like, I have an assistant right now, but I have her doing more of like day-to-day tasks for me, like at home tasks versus doing the business stuff, because I feel like I just do things and I don't necessarily have like a system or a way I do it, if that makes sense. So then to teach somebody is kind of difficult. So I was just wondering because I feel like I need to do that for my coaches versus like my assistant right now, if that makes sense. So I was wondering if like there was like a way like you could do a training almost, but like we would throw in or like compensate you for like helping train our assistants versus like just doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. What I'm doing now with a couple of others, or what I have done. And I kind of changed it up because at first I was just getting them. I was getting what they needed, putting it into Evernote, and then sending it over and showing them how to like go between it. But now what I did is like people who need to kind of start from the beginning. I need all my contacts. I need all this. I need to start from the beginning of 2012, whatever it is. I think it's really overwhelming for a new assistant that doesn't know anything about it. So what I did with just this last one is I set up the spreadsheets of what each thing was. So then the new assistant can just take it over and see the example already there, if that makes sense. So it's not, I mean, I'm still going to show them what they're going to do, but it's not a ton of, where do I start? It's, date, time, whatever the case may be. It's there. They can see it. This is where we left off because there's a check mark. Yes, I did it. No, I didn't. And they can just fill into it and get more comfortable with it. But yeah, the plan is also to do an assistant series, like I'm an assistant, now what? Where do I start? Some tips and tricks and things and how I do things.
You should totally do that as a webinar and make money off of that. And I can help you do that if you want to do that. It's like the stuff that I've been learning. But
I'm sweating with this team call. I can't imagine a webinar. Oh my God, you're making me so. That's funny.
I told you.
I'm just saying, like, I can definitely help you do that because I've learned how to do all of that stuff, and it's just not as applicable for what I'm doing right now, but I have the resource and the knowledge.
I would say, a lot of hesitation with people is that they don't know where to start. They feel like they can't. It takes a lot of work, and it does take work to start something, and that's why they take so long to do it. But once you start seeing it, how easy it is, because a lot of people have said, I just want 5 hours, that's it.
Right.
And then they see how much time they get done and how many things that they can accomplish in that time. They're like, well, can you do this too? Can you do this too? And it grows because you're becoming so much more efficient and you trust this person. I would also say, like I said, the finances didn't start at first. That took a while, but if you want to do a confidentiality agreement, because they have your passwords to everything. Legal Zoom, you can get those and all that. I couldn't imagine doing it. I couldn't imagine people doing that, but I'm sure it's a huge worry. I worry, like, when I give somebody a new assistant, like, I trust me, but I don't know if I trust them. But you just gotta try it and see how it goes. They've been friends of mine that I've passed on to other people, and I don't know. I just you gotta work it up, but yeah. I don't know if I'm supposed to read questions or something. But Emily, I'll totally ask you.
Yeah, I don't think we asked another question. But yeah, that was definitely a question that did come up in like our list of questions when we were asking, was about that. So the way that it went down with Kaitlyn and I was, before I handed over my passwords, I changed out my passwords to the things that she had access to. Like if I had, my password was the same for PayPal as it was for my bank account, because it was a financial thing. It's what I used. I didn't really know Kaitlyn at first, so I didn't necessarily want her having my password to my bank account. So I changed my passwords to things that were going to be relevant to the business. And I have different passwords for every single account that I have for security purposes, per Darren Natoni. But I have a list of those in our Evernote, and she has access to them. So if for whatever reason they need to get changed, then they are changed, and I know what it is, she knows what it is, etc. Then as our relationship grew and I trusted her, we opened up a business credit card, and she has access to that. That is linked to my PayPal. She has the credit card number and the information. And like she said, she gets everything approved through me before she buys anything. She actually pays herself out because that just became easier. And our deal was like, hey, you overpay yourself or you take money, like that's grounds for being fired, and I'm going to take you to court. So you decide. And I think it was pretty, like, I was pretty blunt about that and pretty simple. Like, and I didn't have a problem with it because at that point we had that relationship where I trusted her, and it was just, she had been with me for about 8 months before I really turned over that responsibility to her, because I feel like she can handle that kind of stuff on her own and it's worth it. And now she doesn't do my taxes per se, but like she said, we have an Evernote file where it says January expenses, February expenses, and anytime she sees something that comes through PayPal that's on automatic She puts it into a spreadsheet for us. I update anything that I buy that doesn't come directly out of PayPal or off of a credit card statement that she can't see. I put that into an Evernote file and she updates it on the spreadsheet. So that way, next year, come tax time, it will be way easier for me to just go in and put everything together into one file and send it out. Whereas right now it takes me days to go through my taxes. And, it's me remembering to put that stuff in there when I buy it. But I've just made it a point where I stop, I take the extra minute to write on the top of the receipt what it is and to put that amount into the Evernote file. And then she takes care of it from there. And she changes out the color of it once it's actually been added to the spreadsheet. She's like super duper organized that way, y'all. Like everything's color coordinated and like she knows exactly where she is in the business. And yeah. The other question that somebody asked was what, Emily, you said, you just feel like everything is up here in your head and you're not really sure how to get it down on paper. Well, Kaitlyn can tell you, she says it all the time. Geez, I just wish I could get in your head and know what you're thinking, because I drive her bonkers, because and she knows me that this is how I work, where she'll just sit there and shut up for a little while because I will just start texting her like paragraph long things of everything that is on my brain. Like, how they say brain dump? Well, I brain dump on Kaitlyn and just say, this is what's on my brain. And then she will take that brain dump list and she will organize it out for me and say, here's what's realistic. Here's what I can help you with. Here's what you have to do. Go do it. So, and it was a learning process with us for sure. Getting to know each other and getting to know where, I didn't want to be putting too much on her, and she didn't want to be like, she always says, I'm bothering you. I'm like, you're not bothering me. It's fine. If I don't answer you, it's not personal. It's probably because I'm just doing something with my family. And she knows, and I know, like, she'll text me at a random hour, but I know I don't have to respond to her because she's just sending it to me because it's on her brain, and we also use Evernote for it as well, because the reason I like Evernote, and Kaitlyn does too, is there's a work chat section where you can share files with each other. You can input things. She can put work chats in there, and I can go back and check over things and read through it and see what her questions are, what she's done, what she hasn't. With the retreat, she's sharing all of our files and documents and everything through there, and I can go in and check it while she's sleeping, and she can do the same. We're different time zones, so she can do things while I'm in bed, and then I'll check it in the morning when I wake up and see what she sent me. So that really seems to work for us. We really like that process. But just know when you do get a new assistant, it's not going to flow perfectly right away. Like I said, Kaitlyn's been with me now for a year, and we have a really great system now, but we still have hiccups sometimes, and I know she still wants to strangle me sometimes, but it works. So
there was one more that I was going to say and I forgot. Oh, the apps that we use in how-to. I would highly recommend Evernote. It's just easier than 15 million emails of corrections and stuff. Because when I correct something or she needs to go over it, I put it in another color so she knows that one specifically needs help, and then she can answer it, and it's all in one file. It's not email number 1, version number 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. They can just all go in there. And I'll do in that I'm an assistant, whatever, how we do it, what apps we use, how, who, what, when, where, why, basically, of all that. But I would highly recommend that if you don't already do it. Putting all your templates in there, and that's what I pull out of. That's what I copy and paste out of, and stuff for the leads and follow-ups.
Yeah. And if I change anything, it automatically changes on Evernote. And if Kaitlyn changes anything, it automatically changes and updates throughout the system everywhere. So it makes it easier.
So I'm kind of like stuck between a rock and a hard place, because for me, I feel like I probably need somebody that doesn't have really anything else going on, so that, well, in the sense that, like right now, my assistant does a bunch of odd jobs. So in turn, it's like everything varies. Whether she's going to show up that day, if it's going to be this time of the week, like whatever. And I'm such a sucker because I am like, I don't know, I get attached to people, so then I feel like I can't be like, no, this is not how it can be. But so I almost kind of want to keep her to do like my like life stuff and maybe cut back her hours, and then find somebody who's remote that will just get it done, if that makes sense, for the thing. And I just don't know if anyone has any insight, because I don't know. I'm so used to being a manager versus like running my own business, and I don't want to manage my assistant. I want to be able to support them, give them a list of expectations. Once you learn how to do it, trust that you're able to do it, if that makes sense.
No, yeah. Lauren could probably help you a bit on that one, but I just lost my train of thought again. Sorry. I get what you're saying. If you're wasting more time and money having your friend do it, it's pointless, or whoever you have in the house. I mean, I understand that if you having somebody come in and do the house stuff and your life stuff because you can focus on your work helps you, absolutely. If you just need somebody to organize some stuff for you that you won't always need an assistant, then that works too. But if you, like you said, you want somebody that's away from you, not that you're not going to build a relationship with them, because I think, she's pretty badass. Ooh, can you cuss her? Like on TV. She's pretty awesome and I love her to death. I wish we were closer. But that's what they're focusing on. It's just those things right there. That it will help you. It'll be work to start. It takes more time. It takes more effort. It takes more energy. But you're laying the groundwork for something that's going to be bigger for you.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that was hard for me at first, especially, was that it was a growing process for both of us. And it was a learning process for Kaitlyn as well, because you have to think about it. It's taken you 2 years to learn all of this stuff. And now we're expecting our assistants to learn it and know it in like a week, and it's a lot. And for her, especially because images and graphics and report running and all of that stuff was kind of what made me snap, because I was sitting there doing it for so many hours. And I remember sitting there on a Saturday doing it, and it ended up taking me like 2 hours to do the reports and the graphics and the images and all of that stuff for the entire team, for Success Club and Volume and all of that. And my kids were outside playing and I just wanted to be with them. And I was like, forget this. I need to find somebody who can do this for me. And at first it was definitely a learning process, because Kaitlyn had never used a graphics app. Like, she had never done any of that stuff before. And I had learned how to do it. And it was kind of like, okay, well, here you go. You can do it. And I remember looking at it and being like, oh, I would not have done it like that. But at the same time, sorry, Kaitlyn, but this is true. And so, but I remember talking to Janelle about this, and she was like, but is it better that it's done? Or would you rather go spend those 2 hours to do it yourself? You have to be okay with the fact that it may not be the way you want it exactly, at least the first few times around, but it's done, and you have to be okay with that. And so it definitely, and it was that I also had to be not afraid to speak up and say to her, like, okay, it's done. I'm not asking you to go do it again, but next time let's try using this instead, or next time let's do this. Or, it was constructive criticism to her on how to do the graphics more like I would particularly do it, or I would find images for her and send them to her and say, hey, this is kind of what I had in mind. Let's see if we can try and make it look like that. And then it goes the same for both things. So even with just images, she would give me constructive criticism, and I would ask her for it on ways that I could do things better to help her. And, because I'm the most disorganized, unorganized person on the face of the planet. So, with trying to get things out of my brain and giving them to her, she would give me ideas. She came up with the idea for the spreadsheet for Shakeology. She came up with all of that stuff for customers and tracking customers and everything. She's built all of that for me and has it organized. She has the system of how she sends things out to people. So I didn't generate that. She did, just based off of our discussions, because it makes her life easier as well as mine. So I think just kind of in talking to whoever you get as your assistant And it is easier, in my opinion, when it's not your friend, just because at first, I didn't know Kaitlyn as a friend. I knew her as a girl I knew on Facebook, but she wasn't really a friend. And I didn't want her to be like my employee. But at the same time, it was easier for me to say, hey, I don't like that. Or, without being afraid that I was going to hurt her feelings, because she was somebody that was working for me. And if you're going to pay someone to do something, you want it done the right way and the way that you expect it to be done. So it was easier in that sense. But I also knew she was spending hours and hours and hours on something, and it was done. I'm not going to go ask her to do it again unless it was like really, really bad. And then I would just make simple tweaks that I could do on my own to things too, and then send it back and say, hey, next time let's try it like this.
She changed up my image from last month. She did it. But I mean, like, I can't, like, this is what I was like, I just wish I was in her brain. She would, before we even start, she goes, and how about this? And how about we do a thin font and a this and that? Like, she cut it off before I even messed it up. She put it out there.
Yeah, because I think that's kind of what I need is I am such a sucker for excuses with people. So it's just like I need someone that's kind of a little bit further removed from me so that I can be able to get what I need the way I want it for, obviously paying them. But and because a lot of times I'll like switch what I'm doing, or I'll put more time and energy in than I really should have to, considering I'm paying them. And that's what I get nervous, why it's so hard for me, because it's like I'm on my second assistant, and it's not like she's bad or anything. It's just that it's getting her over the hump that is hard when you invest all that time, knowing that you're then going to probably switch and have to get another one. So that's where I'm at.
If you want, if you don't care about time zones, it's easier. Yeah, because some people do, some people don't. It's easier because it's harder to get in contact with them or something. I don't know. I think it works for us the way it happened, because she's 2 hours ahead of me. So in the morning, there's stuff waiting for me. Mm-hmm. Type of thing.
And I think, I used to live in California, and my entire market's on the East Coast, so I get it. The time difference, it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
All right, girl. Well, I think that's it. And I'm going to go ahead and say have a great rest of your day. You did awesome, Kaitlyn. Thank you. Appreciate it. You did it. Yay.
First time. Okay, so now what do I do?
Emily wants to know if you'll post your slides, or maybe we can create a file in Google Drive, and then just name it like assistant. I don't know. Name it whatever you want. But just put it in a file in maybe under the organization and like tools section. That would be good. Or, you can even create something like a thing for assistants if you want. But okay, cool beans. Well, thanks guys. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.